Welcome back to another reaction for Release That Witch, episode 4. I totally forgot about this one. Okay. Ship? Pirate ship? I guess? Oh. The sister, right? Princess. Because she is responsible for the port town. Makes sense. A ship, sailing. Maybe we should give her a chance? I mean, maybe not for him because brother and sister, but I would not be opposed yet. Who knows how she behaves?
殿下，黑帆回来了。黑帆拦截了金穗城往狼心的商船队。此次的收获非常可观，足够我们武装一整支部队。
不错。
Oh, sorry. Talking stuff happens. So we intercepted Valencia to Wolfhard. Naturally, I don't remember too much. I believe Valencia was another one. That is another city that is managed by the prince. I could see that. And there is some armaments on there, which wouldn't make sense. I assume Wolfhard is like a fort, but this, it seems like there's going to be a war in some kind of way. Maybe they arm themselves for some outside influence attacking, or to do a revolt in some way, shape, or form. I also don't know if Wolfhard, I don't believe it was the Holy City. I believe it was called differently.
不错。那个黑帆的船长叫做什么来着？
德雷克船长。
Right, and the Black Fleet is... Black Sail Fleet is the one that is more or less working for you, mercenary-wise.
船长，殿下。
封他一个爵士。
I mean, that is one way to bind someone to you. Give them a good rank. Knight is most of the time a pretty good rank. I don't know in this world, but in our world, I believe knighthood was also some kind of nobility. Maybe lesser, but still, it is a good title. And for that, they are more likely to be loyal to you. So this is a good way to keep good people at your side. This one was able to intercept this huge shipment. So a reward is in order.
将这次劫掠的收获全部奖励。
I mean, if I was the captain of the ship, I would, you know, take the knighthood. I would take the spoils. I would take a third or maybe half of the spoils and give it to all my sailors and be like, I'm all from whatever her name is. And this way we have like a loyal crew for her. It just makes a lot of sense. Naturally, she could have taken all the shipment and she could have enriched herself. But having good people at your side, I feel like is a lot more valuable.
黑帆舰队。
我相信德雷克爵士和全体黑帆战士都将衷心感谢您的慷慨，殿下。另外，翠鸟那边回信说任务失败了，说是药丸确实混在酒中。
Okay, we know who is responsible for the assassination attempt. Or, I mean, it was not an attempt. It did work. Against Roland, I believe it was. But another person got put in his place. I mean, that sucks. But maybe we should give her a second chance, you know?
喝了下去。不过罗兰殿下
Yes, okay. Also, Kingfisher is the name of the girl then?
说是药丸确实混在酒
Was a
中喝了
woman?
下去，不过罗兰殿下只是昏睡了一小会儿，而且
失败就是失败，我不想听解释。
是殿下。
给他最后一次机会，随信送点他妹妹的东西过去，让他见机行事。
Some of her sister belongings as well. For a moment, I thought, okay, this is maybe a threat. Hey, I give you one more chance. If something goes wrong, you know what is happening to your sister. But it seems like that whatever these belongings are mostly for assassination. Maybe the assassin group is like the sisterhood. So they all call each other sister, maybe. I don't really know why she's so fixated on killing Roland, because he's a noble for a frontier town that is most likely not going to be useful at all. So getting rid of him, not that beneficial. Because this is costing money, resources, whatever. It would probably be better to try and get rid of some of the other brothers or sisters that took control of like the other port town.
让他见机行事。下去吧。
是殿下。
对了，
By the way, I really like that in Chinese productions, they can seemingly decide how long the episode is supposed to be. This one is 28. I believe the last week was 27 minutes long. Instead of having a rigorous, oh, you need to be done by 24 minutes or whatever Japan has. I do like that. This gives them options to showcase a little bit more. They don't need to cut out if they don't want to.
那颗药丸是炼金大师恩比瑟提供的吧？当时他怎么说的？入水即化，服之必死。
I feel like we are going to have one alchemist left.
绞死他吧。
So she is not fucking around. I personally would not have done that. I would have, because the alchemist probably has more of these pills, I would have let the alchemist drink the pill itself. Dissolve it in water, drink it, and then we will see. I mean, if he dies, okay, he was innocent, but is still dead. And if he doesn't die, then I don't know. It would just be my gut reaction to let him drink the pill itself. Did we ever see Roland's town in all its size? This one doesn't, I mean, it doesn't look big compared to cities nowadays. But if we assume, I mean, what is that? Like 50, 60 houses? That is quite a bit, and they seem to have I don't really know what that is. A garrison, a fort. By the way, the harbor is far too small for all of these ships. Again, I don't know why the fixation on getting rid of Roland. Because before our boy got reincarnated, it was not really any danger. Because the only reason I can see her getting rid of Roland is to get rid of competition, to then become the queen whenever the king dies. But Roland is so far off that I don't know that that is the one I would go for. Again, we know 2 additional siblings that are controlling, one of them at least, a trade town. Getting rid of these probably a lot more efficient, a lot more secure, even if it is harder. But I guess she has a reason. Or maybe she's just, you know, this is the weakest person, just get rid of him, just in case. Not that he's going to support one of the other brothers, and maybe that is her reasoning, which, okay. Who? Where? Why? Looks like some kind of monk or stuff like that. Maybe scholar. There's someone walking in there. It's a human hamster wheel. I mean, conceptually, it would make sense. I feel like you don't do this because the wood is not really all that stable. Normally, you would probably do the typical wheel you see on ships. What is the banner? Or the crest? He even has guard. Maybe he's a messenger.
城墙的建设非常顺利，范伯特先生说，保证可以按时完成。
Nice.
那贸易方面呢？
也很顺利，从柳叶镇购买的粮食今天就送到码头。
Okay. Ooh, he could be a messenger from the fort. Because the whole point was getting the wall up and running, which seemingly we are on time, and then not trade with the fort anymore, but trade with other people. And the fort is then probably going to send a messenger and be like, what the fuck? Where's our shit?
具体数量嘛，在这儿。您看，殿下，足够我们支撑这个冬天。
Okay.
刨除购买粮食的花销，我们还有一点盈余。
Very nice, very nice. Okay, we need some kind of soldiers. We need stuff that can fight off the monster horde.
殿下虽然有贸易收入了，不过我们的财政赤字仍然。
Okay, but it's less than before, right? How do we even have such a big deficit? Are we not making or mining enough, or
非常严重，恐怕不是长久之计呀。现在我们的主要支出可都是从您自己的金库
Oh, yeah, sure.
里面出的。照这个速度下去，最多也就支撑到明年春天。
没关系，能撑到那个时候已经很好了。再说，我们还有矿石买卖呢。只要修好城墙，让我们在边陲镇站稳脚跟，后续的矿石生产就能得到保障。
Again, we are trading with Willowtone. That is maybe the reason that we only are trading with Willowtone. They can only take so much. Food purchased Willowtone. Yeah, as you can see, it's not enough. It's enough. Okay. So we did not... Okay, I misunderstood. We did not start trading ore We just bought enough food to last us through the winter. We have a little bit of a surplus, so we didn't spend all our money yet. But we still have the ore we can sell. Now, the whole idea is to sell it to Willertown. Willertown can only take so much ore. But we can use the river to trade with other cities. And then we can slowly but surely get the money. And then we should not be in a deficit. So this is the whole financial situation at the moment is without exporting ore, which is the main export this town has. Because we are mostly occupied by building the wall and preparing for the monster
我们还有矿
month.
石买卖呢。只要修好城墙，让我们在边陲镇站稳脚跟，后续的矿石生产就能得到保障。
我倒不是担心这个。
Okay, but what then? Also, again, we need some fighting force to fight all the monsters. I don't believe the wall is going to be enough. Then the question is, couldn't they just send people out and attack the town? And then just claim monster attack them? We will see.
殿下，咱们断了长歌要塞的矿石供应，莱恩公爵是不会善罢甘休
And the question is, what is he going to do? That is a big question.
的。万一
Oh, I assume he's saying, what if he attacks the town? Because they could do that. Now, the only time they could do that is in winter, but that would be risky because they don't know if the town can even defend. I also assume they would just... Again, the guy from before that is probably going to enter is most likely a messenger from that stronghold. And I feel like this winter they are just going to sit back and hope that the town is going to get destroyed or they get beaten enough they come crying to them. Because it wouldn't really make sense to act now. They are not going to believe that Roland is going to be able to hold back the monster.
进来，
At least I would
殿
not.
下，长歌要塞的使者来了。
Okay, see? Again, I would not believe if I was the leader of the Longsong stronghold, I would not believe this town could survive winter. So there's no reason to really act. Just put a little bit of pressure, be like, hey, you didn't deliver ore, like we had the agreement. If the winter comes around and you don't deliver us the ore, we are not going to take you in.
巴勒夫，你刚说从柳叶镇买来的食物已经到了，是吧？
是的，殿下。
Are you going to prepare a banquet for him
吩咐厨房，
to showcase the food?
就用刚送来的食物，准备一桌最丰盛的菜品，把议事厅打扫干净。我要请客。
I see. Smart idea. You are showcasing all the food and you have this whole lavish feast for only 2 people. More or less showcasing how much food you have, even though you don't. But this is mostly a bluff, which is a smart way to do this, because this is going to disarm one of his threats he's going to levy against you. One of them, security, which the wall is for, and the other one is food security, which seemingly they have solved. I mean, who can eat that much chicken? I mean, but who else can eat so much chicken? Even a cake?
荷尔蒙先生， 不要客气，请。
啊，谢谢您，殿下。殿下，您拿着的是？
I did not even consider that. Chopsticks. But yeah, this is all just a big bluff. And it is going to disarm the threats that they can show.
你说这个，我叫它筷子。火的里面用不起银质刀叉，但是像这样的小木棍，既便宜又卫生。
I mean, sure, if you wash them.
材料也简单易得，我打算在边陲镇开始推广。唉，当然，现在的边陲镇没什么好东西可以吃。
Sure, not a lot of good food, I see.
只好委屈你了。
不，殿下您太客气了。这样的餐食，即使在要塞也不是经常能吃到的。
I mean, that would be insane. Not only are you showing that the border town has enough food, you're also showing you are willing to have more food? Okay. I assume this was not planned.
这不是为了欢迎您的到来吗？平时我们也不这样的。这些食材都是今天刚从柳叶镇送来的。
Smooth. Just bring up another town. Yeah. So there is a trade agreement going on between these towns. This is going to, again, it's all to make their position seem weaker than it is.
柳叶镇
The stronghold.
快请吧，荷尔蒙先生。不要客气，有什么事情吃完再聊。
I also feel like he is not the one that had the previous agreement. He does not look threatening. He does not feel imposing. I would have assumed it would be some kind of noble guy that is coming along who's very pompous and is like very aggressive. He's none of those. I don't feel like he's good at more or less getting these agreements going. He just does not have the authority. At least he does not feel like he has.
非常感谢您的款待，殿下。我此次代表长歌要塞来到这里，是想说，交割矿石的日期已经过了。要塞早已按照惯例准备好了要送到边陲镇的食物，可是我们还没有收到矿石。
是这样的，前阵子发生了一些不幸的
Oh, we don't have any ore, I guess.
事情。北面矿洞发生了塌方，矿坑停产了很久。哦，倒了。
Playing with food is insane.
总之，我们凑不齐约定数量的矿石了，大概只有2个月的产量。
矿山的事我听说了，那就先交2个月的份额吧。
2个月的矿石换回来的那点粮食，可养不起我的领民。2年前，边陲镇因为粮食不足，饿死了好多人。我不允许这种事情再次发生。
Now the big question is, with all the food he showcased, is that really just to show, hey, we have enough food, we are fine, we don't need your support? Or is this to make him seem more incompetent? I don't feel like it is the latter. I feel like it's the first one.
和要塞间这
Especially with this argument here.
种以物易物的交易方式，必须废止。
Again, this guy is out of his depth. He's unable to really get Roland to do what he wants. He's just a messenger. It's not his job. But someone with more authority and more that is more aggressive could probably have done a better job.
殿下的意思是，
But they are probably lazy and sitting in the stronghold.
不瞒你说，我已经把矿石卖给了柳叶镇，并且从柳叶镇采购了足够过冬的粮食。他们不仅愿意用金龙购买矿石，还有意按市场价出售各种商品。但凡能用钱买的，他们都卖。所以，和柳叶镇交易，对边陲镇更有利。
Because the only reason you were trading with the stronghold was because of the protection they were offering in return, which you don't need anymore.
又倒了。
所以码头上柳叶镇的船，原来就是
So that quest was Willowtown. Okay. I'm assuming the next topic is going to be the protection for winter.
殿下，我明白您的想法了。不过，这似乎有几处不妥。
哦，说说看。
据我了解，柳叶镇从未有过矿石买卖，就算答应以货币交易，价格也不会太高。我想，最多也就是市场价
Which would still be more than you would be willing
的
to
5
give.
成。对您来说，这是赔本的，只怕不能长久。贸易是由市场决定的。长歌要塞在西境经营上百年了。
I see. So you try to now open trading negotiations? Again, he does not feel very authoritative, but it seems like he is very well taught. He seems smart. And this feels like he's saying, hey, Willowtown, it would be a loss, but if you sold to us, we would give you the right price.
只有像要塞这种规模，才有能力消费如此多的矿石。要塞不论是发展前景还是市场规模，都远在柳叶镇之上。所以长远来看
which I believe was also Roland's goal in the end, to make the agreement between the stronghold and the border town not be about bartering, but selling and buying.
边陲镇要以要塞为主要贸易对象，才更符合我们双方的利益。3成，如果要塞能以低于市场价3成的价格收购矿石，那我们就可以双赢。
I mean, it is quite a jump from more or less getting robbed to now getting 70% of the market value. Naturally, Roland is most likely not going to take this, because in a negotiation like this, naturally the first offer is most likely the one that is the most profitable for themselves. So you have to give a counter offer, which is most likely 20%, and they go for 25, which is where normally you go with these, if you are interested in negotiating.
我早就听说，金银花家族的培罗荷尔蒙是一个经商的好手，果然名不虚传。
谢谢您的褒奖，殿下。
基于你刚才所说的条件，确实会达成一个双赢的局面。不过，你能保证这会是要塞6大家族的一致决定吗？
This is where politics come into play, because the guy they send is a merchant. He's doing what a merchant would do. They see profits. They see that they can't really force the border town to sell or barter the ore anymore. Meanwhile, some of the other families may be more heavy-handed, and they would not agree with that. So security in this regard is questionable. I don't believe he, at least not him, he's unable to convince the other families.
这我不敢100%保证，但要塞的对外贸易都是我在经营，我会尽最大努力说服公爵大人和6大家族接受这个双赢的结果。
The Duke and the 6 families, okay. Unlikely. And the biggest point also is, sure, the fortress is or stronghold is the only one that can use that much ore. But Border Town is also probably the only one that can deliver that much ore for a good price. Because everything else would most likely be shipped by boat from a very far away place. So it is more or less both parties need each other for the ore. One for selling, one for buying. So it would be beneficial to have a good agreement.
双赢的结果。
Because otherwise, if you don't have agreement, both parties are going to lose out a lot more than they would gain by working together.
我这就回要塞写一份新的合约，然后再来拜访殿下。
好，那我就等大使先生的好消息了。
I find it interesting that he was just accepting the 30%.
殿下，还有一件事，离入冬只剩2个月了。柳叶镇毕竟路途较远。
So the assumption is that they would seek shelter in Willowtown.
路上容易发生危险。
I was wondering why this was not really part of the negotiation, the protection. But I guess his assumption was they go to Willowtown because that is their primary trading partner, not knowing that they will just stay here. Now, I don't know. I would probably not tell him that we are planning to stay because it's not needed to tell them. You know, information is valuable, and if you don't need to give information, you don't. Also, it feels like he's saying, Shannon can be dangerous, that should they go to Willowtown, that the stronghold may sink those ships as like a reminder that they are not to be messed with.
容易发生危险，所以，我还是强烈建议您站在莱恩公爵的立场上，慎重的考虑一些实际问题。
荷尔蒙先生误会了，我从没想过让我的子民去柳叶镇过冬。
那，您是说，
也没打算去长歌要塞。我们哪儿也不去。这个冬天，我会建造城墙，驻守边陲镇，让这里成为瑰宝王国新的边境线。
我明白了。
Again, I feel like that information you did not need to tell him. Because let's say winter comes around, they wait at the water to potentially sink some of the ships that try to take refuge in Willowtown, which I assume is what he alluded to. They waste their money, they waste their effort. Meanwhile, you just stay in the city. Also, it would give you more time. Should the stronghold want to attack you, they would not do that in winter because they do not know where you are, essentially. They are not going to assume you stayed in town. Not from the beginning.
不过殿下，
So, a little bit weird that we gave that information away.
最后说一句，您的决定影响着边陲镇所有民众的命运。一旦有所差池，您有退路，他们可没有。
感谢大使的关心，我很清楚我的决定意味着什么。
好吧，您的条件我都记下了。
More poison?
巴洛夫，
I do wonder.
按计划把粮食准备好。
是，殿下。
We can even buy some more food because we have a little bit money left. I do wonder, could he be healed by the one witch if there's another attempt on his life? I don't know if she can
哦，
if she can cast an antidote or whatever.
那小子还说什么了？
殿下说，他已将现有矿石以货币交易的形式卖给了柳叶镇，并且从柳叶镇买来了今年全镇过冬的粮食。
Which is something they can easily check. Willertown is not that far away from them. So they could send someone to check out Willertown to see if they did trade.
对呀。还有呢？
还有，罗兰殿下说，今年的邪魔之月，他不会来要塞避难，镇民们也不会走。殿下他正在边陲镇修筑城墙。他还说。
I mean, this also, no one is going to believe that he's going to be able to build a wall in that short amount of time.
他还说什么？
他还说，他将带领领民击溃邪兽，保护边陲镇，让边陲镇成为辉宝王国新的边境。
Which indirectly threatens their position. Again, a lot of things I feel like we should not divulge right now. Sure, we are going to make a prosperous town that is going to be able to defend against the monsters. The fact of making it the new border castle, making this castle obsolete somewhat, but threatening their position now is a little bit dangerous.
他以为这里是什么地方？辉宝吗？王子殿下不会以为造城墙和过家家一样，堆几块破石头，糊一点湿泥巴。
只怕堆高点儿，立刻就垮了。
公爵大人，那王子在诈我们呢。
Totally understandable that they do not believe him. I would be more careful and maybe send a spy to see if what they're saying is true or not,
裴罗胆小，被他唬
instead of just accepting or believing it is impossible.
住了。咱们可不能上当。
就是
不过也好，他若失败，逃回长歌要塞，自然任我们摆布；若他死在那边，
闹剧结束，万事大吉。
But that also means you don't get any ore.
波利斯，
是，公爵阁下，
关于城墙，你知道些什么？
这，阁下，前段日子那小子确实是在招聘石匠和工人，不过我以为他只是修缮他的花园什么的，没听说什么城墙的事情啊。
We should also not forget that before he got reincarnated, our boy, that the previous prince had a pretty bad reputation. Not really caring about the town, probably using a lot of money for himself. So it would make sense to believe he's still the same guy, even though he did a 180. But they don't really know that.
裴罗，那个城墙，你看到了吗？
离开边陲镇前，我特意
Oh, you did check. Okay, we don't need a spy then. Again, very smart. Going, checking, not believing just the words. And I assume half the wall is already finished. And he can then inspect how well the wall is
去确认过。
and how effective it could be.
迷雾森林边上确实有人正在修筑城墙。 不知道王子用了什么方法，修筑速度很快，但是城墙规模不大。依我看，要抵御邪兽有一定的难度。
你的意见是什么？
I mean, we know what he thinks they should do. Because he's a trader at heart. And instead of looking down on someone, if there's profit to be made, there's profit to be made. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a beggar, it could be a noble, it could be a criminal. Profit is profit. What is this? Oh, I assume this is like a big speech. Oh, we are going to stay. We are going to defeat the demon. Should we know those? I feel like we could have chosen a different day, a day where it's not raining. Is this a noble guy? I don't know. We know the witch girl is part of some kind of noble, so they can't really take her in. Is this the guy? I don't know. Or is this just a guard for her specifically?
边陲镇的居民们，我是辉宝王国第4王子罗兰。 温布顿，今天召集大家在这儿，是有一件重要的事情要告诉大家。就在今天上午，长歌要塞的使者来到了边陲镇，他们是为了矿石交割而来的。大家都清楚，1个月前，我们遭遇了一场不幸的事故，北坡矿洞发生了塌方，直到今天，矿区仍未完全恢复。
I mean, that is a pretty negative start.
生产。 我们已经无法凑齐足够的矿。
Not getting better.
是，我已向使者说明情况，并希望他网开一面，足额足量的拨给咱们过冬的食粮。但是，他拒绝了，没有任何协商的余地。
I mean, we did not really talk about that. So essentially, he's doing the politician thing where it's like, yeah, look at these guys, the strongholds. They are our enemies. They are bad guys. We are good guys. They bad. And this is less likely to make them want to take refuge there as well.
绝拨出足够的粮食，就如同2年前的邪魔之月一样。
Also very smart to use that.
更糟糕的是，辉宝的占星家告诉我，今年冬天将比以往更为漫长，邪魔之月很可能要持续4个月以上，也就是邪魔之月很可能要持续4个月以上，也就是说，如果放任事态发展，2年前的惨剧将再次发生，甚至更严重。请大家回忆起来，回忆起来，2年前我们所失去的一切。我们当中，有人失去了朋友，有人失去了爱人，有人失去了孩子。这一次，我们还要失去什么？我们还有什么可以失去的呢？
I mean, it makes sense. They are bad. They want us to die. We have to be together. We have to do it alone. Makes sense. I don't know how he's going to explain whenever the trade is going to continue.
我觉得王子搬出城墙一事， 意图还是在贸易上。他是以进为退，最终的目的，应该只是要逼我们用货币和边陲镇做交易而已。罗兰殿下因征王令而被派到边陲镇做领主，这些行动都可以理解。我们也没必要和辉宝王室产生正面冲突。如果我们可以按照殿下的要求，今后以低于市场30%的价格来收购矿石，这仍是笔值得做的买卖。另外，如果他真的能守住边陲镇，对我们同样有利。首先，我们能省下抗击邪兽的巨额支出；其次，要塞到边陲镇之间的这大片土地有了开垦利用的可能性，这些都是您的领地。最后，罗兰殿下不会永远留在此处，征王令只有5年，5年后，我们将得到一个更繁荣的边陲镇，那里的子民也还是您的子民。届时，您将坐拥全辉宝王国第3大领地。
Man, if you have 2 smart people, holy shit. I did not even consider any of that. But he's right. They don't have to waste the money to fight the demons or the monster. They can use all the space, which could be very profitable. He is totally right. And at some point, whenever Border Town is alone again, they could just annex it and have a good town for themselves. Additionally, that allows Border Town to mine all through winter, potentially, if they are able to defend the mines, which means even more ore that they generate. So it is just a win-win situation. Even if they were to pay full price for the ore, alone the Border Town holding back the monsters and being able to cultivate the land between the 2 places is probably more than enough value.
所以我的建议是，要塞今后以低于市场价30%收购矿石，并派人帮助4王子修建城墙，协同抵御邪兽。
佩罗，
This is, again, these 6 families, they're the typical nobles. Meanwhile, the Duke seems to be more level-headed. He asked him for his opinion, and he's most likely going to consider it as a potential solution.
你也太天真了吧！
你是不是在开玩笑？
有意思。
Because most people, similar to me, probably never thought about the other parts. Less cost, more land, and a fully decked out town whenever he leaves.
照你说的，一定又是一个所谓的双赢的结论吧？
是的。
想法是不错，不过说到底还是商人的想法。
That is true.
商人只看得到利益得失，然而
I mean, is there something else that is more important than gains and losses? I feel like most things can be watered down to those 2 parts. What do you gain? What do you lose? You go to a party with your friends. What do you gain? What do you lose? Lose a little bit of time, a little bit of potentially doing something else. But you have a good party, have a good time, maybe meet new people, win, loss.
佩罗，我走到今天的地位可不是靠衡量利益得来的。
If I had to assume, you got to your position because of nepotism.
我为什么要和一个不受我掌控的人做生意？
Why would I do business with someone I can't control? That is the whole point of business. Business is an interaction between 2 entities. You know, if you control them, you don't do business with them. You just, it's yours.
在我这里，不听我的话就得受罚。至于边陲镇是繁华是破败都不重要，重要的是，那是我的地盘，谁都别想插手。
What matters is that it's my territory. It literally is not.
谁都别想插手，王子也不例外。
It's the prince's territory, so get fucked. Again, I could see them attacking. Doing that in the winter months, probably a bad idea, because then you could get surrounded by monsters. But otherwise, I feel like they can't really attack the town without getting the wrath of the Great Castle. I mean, they are literally attacking royalty. They would need some reason. Some good reason. Like a revolt, maybe.
这是我从柳叶镇买来过冬的粮食，就在今天上午已经送到了边陲镇。
Okay. So not only is the stronghold bad people, Willow Town, good people.
有面包，还有奶酪、蜜酒、肉干，足足一个冬天的量，所有人都能吃饱。我以温布顿之名发誓，绝对不会再让2年前的灾难重演。
Now the question is, are we going to build a wall behind as well? Because I feel like Roland is not stupid. He knows that they could attack the town.
但是，这样一来，就等于得罪了长歌要塞。他们威胁我们，不再为大家过冬提供庇护。我告诉他们，今年冬天我们哪儿也不去，我们就在我们的家园，我们就在边陲镇过冬。也许有人已经看到，边陲镇西边，一座坚固的城墙正在逐步建成。我知道有人担心邪兽来袭，我们能否抵挡？而我要告诉你们，邪兽并不比普通的野兽强大。
Are they? I feel like they are stronger. I do also wonder, do we have like a... Is the wall going to stop every monster from moving? Or could monster go around the town and attack the fort?
他们虽然皮糙肉厚，但爬不上城墙，也咬不动石头，不过就是群可怜的靶子。我，瑰宝王国第4王子，罗兰温布顿。
I do like that he's always using his title as more or less the support for whatever he claims.
再次发出最强烈的号召，所有能拿起武器的人，为了保卫我们的家园，为了让我们有尊严的活下去，拿起武器，加入民兵队。所有民兵每个月都会获得25枚银郎。如果有人不幸牺牲，他的家人会得到
I mean, that's a lot of money.
5枚金龙的抚恤金。告诉我，你们是愿意躲在长歌要塞的窝棚里，窝囊的饿死，毫无尊严的冻死，还是愿意在我的率领下，保护亲人和伙伴，守卫边陲镇，守卫自己的家园，直到最后一刻
？Very smart. Very smart. He started making an enemy of the fort, because if the fort was not an enemy, then more people would be like, why don't we go back there, and better starving and alive than dead? But this way we don't really have a retreat. We only have a way to go forward. And it's not that you get used. You get quite a good amount of compensation for fighting.
您刚才说我们身边的空气是由好多种气体组成的，真的吗？
Oh, okay. We explain. We're going to explain a lot of higher level stuff that is going to be hard to grasp for people.
当然，尽管他们看起来是一样的。
殿下，我不明白，既然看起来都一样，您怎么知道有不同的气体？
让我来证明给你们看。安娜，帮我点燃这根蜡烛。
哦，好的。
如果我把这个玻璃杯罩上去，你们知道会发生什么事情吗？
火焰会熄灭。
But why?
那火焰又是为什么会熄灭呢？
因为杯子里面的空气烧光了。
Okay.
你是说，因为瓶子里没有空气了，所以火焰就熄灭了？
是的，殿下。
娜娜瓦，你把那边的石灰水倒在这个盆子里。
So he's trying to prove that there's still air in here.
现在
Oh. Because he's just hitting the glass and the water tries to leave and we have still little bubbles going.
让我们来看看，如果我掀起这个瓶子，会发生什么事情？
Right. Also, wait, in this way, wouldn't the water get sucked in?
这是
如果杯子里什么都没有，我们就不会看到气泡和水面的变化。这说明空气中至少含有2种不同的气体。事实上，蜡烛燃烧消耗的只是空气中的一部分，而另一部分是无法参与燃烧的，还使得石灰水变得浑浊。虽然它们一样无色无味，却有着完全不同的性质。
似乎是这么回事啊。不过知道这些有什么用？
如果我们单独使用前一种气体，就可以让火焰烧得更旺，而后一种气体则能让火焰快速熄灭。
说得不错。
I mean, the first part is a little bit of a stretch, not knowing what really goes on, but the second part, yes.
自从人类学会使用火后，就和动物分别开来，而起源
Where are we going
或
with?
许只是一种偶然，或许是雷电点燃了树木，或许是石头撞击迸发的火星引起了火焰。但是如果没有人注意到这点，没有人去尝试利用它，我们现在或许还和野兽一样。做这个实验是想告诉你们，好奇和思考是人类进步的动力。
刚淋了雨，喝点热水吧，殿下。
谢谢，卡特。事实上，自然界还有许多这样潜在的力量，等我们去发现利用。它们看似渺小，但是凝聚起来却会产生惊人的力量。我相信女巫的力量也是一样的。今天的课就到这里，卡特，你负责送娜娜瓦回去。
是，殿下。
殿下再见。
安娜，你也回去好好休息吧。
谢谢殿下。
啊，对了，卡特，你确认了吗？今天从柳叶镇回来的货里有没有我要的雪粉和冰芒？
Snow powder and ice.
啊，是的，殿下，我已经派人统计过了。
Oh, to refrigerate stuff?
不过您要这么多雪粉和冰芒做什么？我们现在既没有什么庆典，也没有什么好冰镇的东西啊。
Okay. Not for refrigeration. Ice and water, snow powder. I don't know. I don't know.
为了下一个实验。
Assassination, right? This is where we try to assassinate him again? Maybe? Or do we have some introspective? Is this not a silver cup? Shouldn't, I mean, maybe the poison doesn't react to silver. But wasn't the main reason to use silver because it reacted to a lot of toxins? So you would know that there's something poisoned? What's going on now? Feels like someone is going to attack him with an arrow or a crossbow. Assassino. I don't know. Is this the same? No. Oh, it's not the same woman. It could be that the wine is poisoned. I assume it is. But I assume this one is a witch. Because the assassins, their goal is to kill Roland. Meanwhile, this person wants to potentially talk. So the assumption is it's some kind of witch. They probably heard about the witch being killed, maybe. Maybe something else. We will see next episode. But I assume this is a witch. Which is going to be interesting. I still feel like we need a second wall and some way to potentially fight against the stronghold, should they decide to do some kind of military move. But I really like that this guy is also very smart, very merchant-like, very profit loss based. I like that the Duke was willing to listen and consider it. But even though he acknowledges that this would be a good way to go forward, the idea would be good, this is not how he does stuff. Which is most likely because if he shows weakness here, that one of the 6 families could try to get rid of him, get someone else on the leading share. I'm assuming that is why he's acting this way. Sadly, not a lot showcased of the witches, but we have a new one we are going to be introduced to. Still really enjoy the show. I really like it.